We got a lot of Baltimore Ravens to talk about on today's show, but before we get started, I want to know, who do you have winning your March Madness bracket? It is the best time of the year. I got my Tennessee Volunteers coming home with the dub. Quick, before it gets busted, let me know who you've got winning the whole thing. Welcome into the Ravens Rundown. I am your host, Joey Petersen, and on today's show, we're going to look at what's going on with the Baltimore Ravens. We're a week removed from Marlon Humphrey's restructure contract, and I'm still convinced that restructuring, along with another few bit of contract details we're going to go over on today's show, it convinces me that Baltimore might not be done in free agency and that something big could be on the horizon. So we talked about this last week. Let's catch you up to speed on that restructure for Marlon Humphrey. His previous salary before that was an $18 million base and roster bonus. Now the league minimum base of $1.25 million, that's what that got shifted to. And his signing bonus went to $16.75 million. And why did they do that? So they could clear up $13.4 million in cap space. And now the Baltimore Ravens sit at $14.12 million in cap space. And when we looked at this early last week, they were sitting around $2 million. And so they've cleared up a good bit to get, up from the bottom ranks of the National Football League in terms where they sit at where they are under the cap. Let's take a look at DeAndre Hopkins' contract details, because last time we talked about this, his contract had yet to be figured out. Heck, I don't even think he had been signed yet. He has a base salary of $1.26 million, a signing bonus of $749,000, and he's only a cap hit of $2 million in 2025, which I think is a massive W for the Baltimore Ravens when it comes to their spending. Let's talk Ronnie Stanley, alrighty? His cap hits are beautiful. Only $5.8 million in 2025, $9.9 million in 2026, and 2027, $20.05 million. And the reason they're that small is because Baltimore did something very smart. Eric DeCosta did something very smart, and he tacked on 3 void years to the end of that deal. What are void years, you ask? Thanks for asking, I reply. And then I say, you know what? They're dummy years added to the end of a contract that allow teams to spread the cap hit of signing bonuses and restructured money across a couple of seasons. So basically, because they added those 3 void years at the end of his deal, that allowed the cap hits to be so small, $5 million, $10 million, and $20 million, when if they wouldn't have done that, those cap hits would have been much bigger, and Baltimore wouldn't have near the amount of cap space that they have right now and next season as well. They also did something a little funky with Patrick Ricard's deal as well. They used what's called a 4-year vet salary benefit. Okay, so he signed a 1-year, $2.87 million deal. Half of that counts against the cap. And it also was a 25% reduction from his last deal. So the reason I started off this show and asking, what's going on in Baltimore, is because it feels like Baltimore is being very careful with this year's cap space. And I'm not just saying that as in they're making money moves here and there, and it just feels like how they went into this offseason and where they are right now, it's changed a good bit, and I'm hopeful that means they could be doing something in the near future. What say you, though? Let me know in the comment section. Do you want Baltimore to make a big move? Give me a yes, give me a no in the comment section down below. And I want to remind you guys, okay, I don't want to say cap space isn't a real thing, but the Saints going into free agency were down $32 million. They were $32 million over the cap, as we might say. Now they're almost $35 million under it. So they've had about a $66, $67 million increase in their cap savings over the last few weeks. So although that number is at $14 million right now, it could change, and I'm not joking, at the drop of a hat. So what move is coming? Let's talk about 3 that might be, all righty? How about a Travon Walker trade? This went out from Draft Campbell, who is a guy who works for Walter Sports, and he said the Jaguars open offers for the former number 1 pick Travon Walker. That's from the Sleeper Jaguars Twitter account. You know what? With what Jacksonville has done so far in NFL free agency, getting rid of Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, Devin Duvernay, tons and tons of talented players on both sides of the roster. It doesn't seem that ridiculous that Travon Walker could be next because they'd get a first-round pick for him. So here's my trade idea. You give Jacksonville a first-round pick. They give you Travon Walker and a 2025 second-rounder. I don't think that is that out of the question, and that's something that I would do in a heartbeat. He's coming off back-to-back double-digit sack seasons. He's still incredibly young. There's a reason, because of his athletic profile and his skill traits, that Jacksonville picked him number 1 overall. However, for now, this feels like a long shot dream. Okay? And this feels like a long shot dream because of the team that we're talking about right now in the Baltimore Ravens. They've made one external move in the last 11 days of NFL free agency. Just one. They re-signed Ronnie Stanley, they re-signed Pat Ricard, and they've signed DeAndre Hopkins. And so, as much as I would love it, as much as you would love it for them to make a splash, go out, trade for Travon Walker, fix that edge rusher position that we all believe needs fixing going into the offseason, doesn't seem like it's going to happen. What's the next thing that could happen? How about another free agent signing? Okay, this is one that, in my opinion, feels a little bit more realistic. And I'm going to give you my top 5 choices of free agent targets that are still available. Will Hernandez, offensive guard, formerly with the Arizona Cardinals. Now, he is coming off a season where he was injured, so that plays into this account. However, I still think he's incredibly talented, and I'm not that, with the loss of Patrick Ricard, I'm not that confident in Andrew Voorhees and Daniel Faalele at interior guard. 2 edge rushers, Zadarius Smith, Matt Judon, both of those familiar faces in Baltimore. Neither of those guys have been signed to a team as of right now. I really could see a reunion for either of those guys in the next week or so. And then cornerback. We've talked about both these guys before. Asante Samuel Jr., Kendall Fuller. Both of them have dealt with their fair share of injuries. Asante Samuel Jr. is a good bit younger. However, Kendall Fuller has had a longer and more impressive career, in my opinion. I would love either of those guys at cornerback. I would love any guys on that list right now. And I look at this team, and I look at the lack of depth in the offensive line, the defensive line, the cornerback room, the linebacker room, the secondary. There are so many positions that are lacking depth on the football field, on both sides of the ball. And so I really hope they're not done with free agency, because I just don't want to fill those depth spots solely with the NFL draft. It's great that this team typically drafts well, but I don't think you need to be, just relying on that solely to fill all your depth, because there is a lot that needs to be figured out from here until September. The way your roster's constructed as of right now, this is a phenomenal team that, if it was dropped down in December, I believe could lead you to a Super Bowl. But the way this team is constructed right now, it's going to be really tough to see them making it through the grind of a 17-game schedule. I'm just being honest. Get in the comments for me. Name a player you want the Ravens to sign in free agency. I just gave you 5 names. I'm just asking you, give me one. Do it right now in the comment section. Before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, I got to talk about our awesome friends over at Fanatics, because you can go to chatsports.com/RavensPolo and get this awesome Ravens polo for 40% off. You heard me right. 40% off. It was $55. Now it's just $33. If you want to give it to somebody as a March Madness present, a Father's Day present, heck, my anniversary is coming up on Sunday. I hope Kennedy went to chatsports.com/RavensPolo. Snag me one of those, because as much as I like looking cool, I also love a great deal, and that's what we've got for you right now. Again, chatsports.com/RavensPolo. The link to this promo will be in the comments and the description of today's video. The last thing that might be coming is not really a move. It's just flexibility. And this one to me seems the most likely, because you never know what's going to happen along the course of an NFL season and in the NFL world. And I believe that the Ravens could want some flexibility in case, come the middle of the season, they want to make a big move. Alrighty, so I think a lot of these moves made, the Marlon Humphrey move last week, the way that all these contracts are structured with the cap hits being, a little bit more further down in the deal, like Ronnie Stanley's is, I think a lot of that is just to feel comfortable with where they are right now. Now, it might not be done. There are still cap savings to be had, like we've talked about before. You could extend Lamar Jackson, that would save you $15 million. You could extend Derrick Henry, that would save you $5 million. Oh, excuse me, almost sneezed there. Or you could trade Mark Andrews, and that would save you $11 million. So if you do those three things, you could save $31 million, and your total would go up to, what is that, $45 million? Almost, I guess, $44 million. Like, there is room to improve with where you are right now, but where you are right now is not in a bad place. And because of what they've done to get there, it kind of has me believing and hoping that a big move might be on the horizon. Thanks so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Before you get out of here, make sure to do me one favor. Hit that sub button. And you know what? Lock us in while you're locked in on your couch on March Madness.